Hello and welcome everyone to this video detailing one of the best preserved medieval German towns, Regensburg in Bavaria. We are currently walking through its winding streets on the way to go to an Oktoberfest type festival that we did not actually know was in town, but we got our beer, which you can drink on the street here, amazing Germany. And we're gonna go see what's up on an island in the Danube. And the sun is setting. We've gotten barely any closer. We're not really sure where we're going, but you can enjoy the sights on the Danube riverbank of this truly delightful, colorful town. Ahead of us is the old stone bridge. It spans the Danube. One of the big tourist sites that we're going to check out more in the morning. We're learning the other side of the river from the old town. Looks a lot like the old town. Still very colorful. Still lots of people drinking. Still a good time. Alright, we've made it to Dult. Regensburg's Oktoberfest. A lot of apes, a lot of dirndls. Good morning from the more industrial part of Regensburg, the new business park where our hotel is. But anyway, we're leaving that behind and going back in time to Regensburg's medieval streets this morning, so stay with me. The narrow medieval streets. Devastatingly, the central cathedral here is under construction, which I guess just tends to be my luck in these sort of places. But you can see what it would look like on the other side. Alright, you've got churches on churches next to the cathedral, which we will certainly go in, but first, gotta find the farmer's market for a little breakfast. Alright, we begin our tour of Regensburg with the East Gate. Standing on the outside. This marked the entry to the old city. It was one of 6 gate towers that existed way back in the day in 1284 when it was built. Sadly, it's the only completely standing one left. You can see where they could pull the gate up. The chains would run through there. You have 2 smaller towers on each side, so it's a very imposing edifice for those would-be attackers of the old city of Regensburg. Now, we can breach it fairly easily by walking through this graffiti-lined passageway. Alright, our second stop, I don't think we're going to go all the way in because it's expensive, is the Bavarian History Museum here in Regensburg on the banks of the Danube. Beautiful modern building honoring Bavarian heritage with a lion drinking beer. What's more perfect than that? And the outside of the Bavarian History Museum. Bavaria was of course its own kingdom until relatively recently, so there's still a lot of regional pride, especially because Bavarian culture has become so synonymous with German culture, at least abroad. And the Danube. Regensburg began as a Roman city, and they chose it because of its strategic position on not just the Danube, but 2 other rivers, the Regensburg, and one that starts with an N that I can't remember. but it's the Danube that was the most important thing. It was on this river that you could trade all the way into Romania if you wanted to. And there's still Viking cruises today that trade by bringing old people from Vienna, Budapest, all the way here to Regensburg. And you can tell how important the Danube was because everything is built right up to the bank of the river. Alright, so across the way here is the Praetorian Gate, which is the only remaining Roman gate north of the... oh, I have it here. It's the only remaining Roman gate north of the Alps. 6,000 Roman soldiers were stationed here. And it just continues to emphasize Regensburg's important position along the border along the Danube for the Romans. So, still standing. Pretty amazing. Roman. Alright, we're back at the Regensburg Cathedral, which is one of the most important cathedrals in Germany, next to the Cologne Cathedral. It's a beautiful example of Gothic architecture that began its life in the 1200s, but was finished more recently in the 1850s by King Ludwig I of Bavaria. So we're going to go peek inside at the, I guess still original stained glass windows, which is kind of amazing. So we'll check that out. Here you can see the original stained glass windows. They really are tremendous. And then in the daytime, the second most recognizable piece of infrastructure in Regensburg is the stone bridge that dates back to the Middle Ages, 1100s. That and the cathedral are the two things that really set Regensburg apart. It is still in pretty good condition, must be said, considering it was built in the 1100s. And now the stone bridge from above. For it. And across the bridge, we're now in Stadtamhof, which was, back in the day, a separate city from Regensburg, across the river. You can see it still has kind of an urban character. But while Regensburg was a free city, because it was a trading city, Stadtamhof was always part of Bavaria. And a mural of David and Goliath. Alright, we're in the Neufahrplatz, which is one of the most important parts of the city. It was here that Roman officers lived 2,000 years ago. And then, much later, a Jewish community moved in. It was the home of the Jewish community in Regensburg until that community was ripped out from the heart of the city and replaced most clearly with this church, which was then used as the first Lutheran church in all of Regensburg in the 1540s. So a lot of history is packed into this one small area. Romans, Jewish people, and then Lutherans. We have now made it to the castle area of the old city. Over here, we can see a statue to one of Regensburg's bishops, and I believe the government building for the city of Regensburg, or of the area, I'm not sure which. In any case, now we're going to head in to the castle, see what's what. Alright, so we're in the main castle area. It was built for the Countess Gloria von Thurn and Taxis. And it's one of the largest privately owned castles in all of Germany. It's over 500 rooms. So, pretty amazing. Let's see how much it costs to go in. It may just be we see it from the outside. And the outside of the castle area. Checking out Dornberg Park, which we've walked by like 6 times and haven't entered yet. So far, it just seems like a normal park. All right, we are now outside Trinity Church, the first church built as an evangelical church in Bavaria in the 1600s. We're gonna go check out the inside, which is known for not having any support beams or columns, rather. So you can see it's very different from Catholic churches, much less ornate. Wooden pews, and then no support columns, which made it very unique for the time. Beautiful organ. As the sun beats down heavily upon us, we find ourselves in the Bismarckplatz, named after one of the more famous residents of Regensburg, Otto von Bismarck. You can see we have a couple fountains, and then the theater of Regensburg, where one could catch a show, but we will not. All in all, just a classic square in medieval town. We have St. Jacob's Church, which is apparently a classic example of Southern German architecture. I wonder if we can go in. Looks like we can. Ooh. It's very well preserved, and they're trying to keep it that way with this glass. We're now in the Heideplatz. This is where the merchants used to gather in this city back when it was a very wealthy trading city. And it's been the host of a few important guests, including the Kaiser of Germany, Wilhelm I, who stayed at this Goldenes Kreuz. And for some reason it's circus week here. I don't know why that is. It means we might get to catch a show. And here, with another show going on, is the old town hall. It was initially built in 1245. And the oldest part of it that's still, I guess, original is this tower, built in the 1300s. The town hall was first placed here when it became officially a free city. And that's going to do it from the beautiful city, medieval city of Regensburg in Germany. I highly recommend you check it out. Not too many tourists, at least in September, so yeah, that's also an upside. Yeah, we're going to go to a brewery and drink. So that'll do it. See you all in the next one.